The first person I'd like to bring out is someone that I met many, many years ago when I was first getting going in the business, and when I was in the original company. And I was very excited in that company. But one of my friends, Don Greneau, who I told you about, that was in the other company, invited me down to see a seminar with Jim Rohn in it. And yes. And I sat through this seminar with Jim, and Jim told me some stuff there that day that made a major difference for me. And it's going to make a major difference for you too. You know, you can hear all this information that we're talking to you about, and we can give you all the stuff. But ultimately, if you as an individual don't do something with it, okay, nothing's going to happen, okay? We can make the tablets for you, okay, but you're the one that's got to swallow them every single day. We can tell you what to say about the brochures and what to do, but you know, we can't be the ones that hand them out for you every single day. You're the one that's got to do that. We can tell you what to do with the recruiting and so on, but you're ultimately the one that's got to go out and do something. That's something you got to do. And you're the one that's got to take the responsibility for everything that happens in your life. And fortunately for me, I found that out at a very early age. And fortunately for me, I learned it because when I started Herbalife, I only had me. That was all I had. I didn't have a sponsor. I didn't have someone that got to pump me up every day. You know, I didn't have someone that I could lean on, that they could say, go down and, you know, he'll help you out. No, I had to do all that. And when I learned that from Jim, that it was ultimately going to be up to me for everything that was going to happen in my life, okay, I became a different person. And let me tell you something, you can become different, okay? I mean, I was just a kid that was with a 9th grade education, okay, that had some great ideas, okay? But if you continue to work and work and work, and then also work on yourself as an individual, it's amazing what can happen in your life. So today, as I bring him up, I want you to really tune in. You're listening, write every single thing down that he says, because there's no question, okay, with the stuff that he's going to be giving you here today, incredible things can happen to you. So I'd like to invite my good friend, Jim Rohn. Come on out.
I made a few notes on the extraordinary summary of the Herbalife success story. And here are some of the notes I made. Number one, it starts with a man and a message. Mark Hughes, from an extraordinary experience he had, losing his mother when he was 18, she was 36. She was trying to lose a few pounds, got hooked on the diet drugs, and started seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 doctors all behind their backs to keep this habit going. And she accidentally died from a drug overdose, just trying to lose a few pounds. Mark said, what a tragedy, I've lost my mother. And if she would have had some safe way, she could have saved her life instead of this obsessive way with the drugs. So Mark said, I'll find a way, I'll produce a product in honor of my mother. And that's exactly what he did. A man with a message and a man with a product. The message was, I've got to take the story as far as I can around the world and perhaps save some mothers from losing their life by getting hooked on the drugs, by finding a safe way, a nutritional way to lose a few pounds, get your health in order. So that was his message, an extraordinary man with an extraordinary message. And it's a unique success story about those products that meet an incredible need. In America, Herbalife's been selling these products now for the last almost 20 years, and there's now great percentages more people who are overweight and need this product than when we started almost 20 years ago. So you can see, we've almost been frantically trying to reach as many people as we can, but the need is so staggeringly far beyond Herbalife's current reach. But hopefully we're going to correct that in the next few years as far as possible. But the population keeps growing and the world keeps expanding. And now, of course, doing business around the world, you can see Herbalife has its work cut out for it to try to reach everybody as soon as possible with this unique message of extraordinary products. And the product does the job. The greatest testimonial about the product is what it does for people and their personal testimonials. And by every standard and by every test, and Herbalife's been through the most severe tests. Every government, of course, takes a new look when we move into a new country. And Herbalife's passed all the tests. But what a success story Herbalife has been, the man, the message, and the product. The next, of course, extraordinary summary of Herbalife's 20 years is the opportunity. The opportunity. Mark wanted an opportunity to offer to everybody because he only went to the 9th grade in school, didn't have, the full-blown education of, the extra years of university, college, and all the rest. And he said, I'd like to give everybody a chance like I had the chance to start from the bottom, work my way to the top, not have someone say, what university did you graduate from? So Mark said, I want to give an opportunity. How could I do it? What kind of marketing system? And that's why he chose network marketing, a person-to-person, regardless of your age, regardless of your education, regardless of the mistakes you've made in the past, regardless of where you find yourself, the circumstances, regardless of color, regardless of religion. Mark said, I wanted an opportunity that would reach all the way to anyone who, one, were struck by the value of these products, inspired by the testimonials, and expressed a willingness to go take some time and share the story. So it's been an extraordinary story for the last 20 years of unusual opportunity. It's a simple marketing system, person to person, but it's extraordinary in its magic. The next person you meet could be a friend for life. The next person you meet, you could retire. The next person you meet could be a business colleague for years to come. That opportunity. The opportunity to directly and indirectly bring value to thousands of people. Mark now, of course, can say directly and indirectly, I found a way to bring value to millions of people. And your imagination might not be able to stretch that far, but I'm telling you, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and some of you hundreds of people, I'm telling you, you can reach a lot of people with incredible value by using this marketing opportunity. That is a story in itself. And of course, the network marketing story alone is one of the giant stories of the century, using this system, not going to the store, but person to person. It is extraordinary. And it's the wave of the future. It's going to be one of the most important dynamic methods of marketing in the 21st century. And no company is better prepared both to introduce it to the new people that haven't experienced it and perfect it in its dynamic use in the early years of the 21st century. Nobody's better prepared to do that than Mark and Herbalife. It's a dynamic story of a structure and a support system that is unique. This broadcast today is part of that structure, part of that support system, where Mark picks up the tab for my services, right? Pays for the whole structure so that it can come to you via satellite. It's an extraordinary opportunity to be part of a structure that gives you the foundation, that gives you the support, so that you can work the business and make your fortune. It's a unique system of recognition. Mark's a genius when it comes to recognition. Hey, take some steps and, we'll call you noble. Take a few more steps and we'll call you the greatest. Take a few more steps and, we'll honor you with whatever, and we'll let you be a part of an inner circle, a unique group of people. That kind of recognition is one of the stories of the century. And Mark put that all together. Support system that gives honor to the people that deserve the honor, respect to the people that deserves the respect. It's a unique support system of community. right? Community of people from all walks of life, languages, all backgrounds, and as a community making their individual contributions to the whole group. Right here on this broadcast network, people come like I do today and sit and tell their story. An individual making a contribution to the whole network. An individual story used to inspire everybody that watches and everybody that listens. That is an extraordinary support system. And the people who participate, right, are greatly rewarded because they get a chance to tell their story. But they also have, as I have today, the unique feeling of being part of something unique that supports the people who participate and gives them information, inspiration, ideas, and this sense of family, community. It is incredible. What I did was I took the word Herbalife and I put each word under each letter under each other right down the page, Herbalife. And then I took each letter and just sort of quickly thought of what that letter might inspire me in terms of a word that would be meaningful in this dynamic Herbalife success story. And of course the first letter was H, and I quickly put down health and happiness. Herbalife deals in both, better health, getting your health in order. Fortunately, my mother taught me good health practices way back that have served me well all these years. My father lived to be 93. I'm following along. I know what good health is all about, and I know of people all around me that haven't had that kind of unique health and vitality, and they've misused and abused and haven't followed good guidelines. But fortunately, I got them early and followed them all these years. And then along comes Herbalife products, like frosting on the cake for me, that gives me this incredible energy of, traveling the whole world, telling my story, and sharing ideas with all of you. So I know what the health means. The happiness, a chance to participate in something extraordinary. There's personal happiness and marriage happiness and family happiness and happiness being a father, being a mother. There's happiness with good friends, but there's also the unique happiness of belonging to a remarkable family, because this is sort of a business social family that we belong to, Herbalife. In fact, when Mark got the company started, when he signed a distributor, he would say, "Welcome to the family." And of course, it seemed more like a family back then, right? Because there was just a few, the tens and 40 and 50 and then 100 and 150. And so it was a family. But now, truly, it still is an international family of colors and sights and sounds and language and dress and style. It's unbelievable. It's still uniquely a family, because when people become part of Herbalife, they have this family kind of feeling that they belong to something unique, and that creates extraordinary happiness. But happiness is too big a subject to cover here. We'll talk about it in some other session. But those are pretty good words associated with the letter H, health and happiness. And I must give you these quickly because I don't have that much time. The E letter I wrote down quickly, energy. Energy, of course, from better health, energy from these unique products. And we even have a unique product called NRG, energy. But the energy that comes from good nutrition, the energy that comes from following your dreams, the energy that comes from challenge, right? Where you really gear up, get the juices flowing because you've got a challenge to accomplish, you've got a job to do, that kind of energy. Mark has had this restless kind of unbelievable, powerful energy that has served him so well all of these years. I know part of it's the product story, but some of it I'm sure he must have inherited. This remarkable energy that never seems to dissipate. It's remarkable. The next E word I had was education. Herbalife spends more time training than any company I know. We have a 3 or 4 day extravaganza. Most all of those days are training. Ideas, information, giving people ways, means. Here's a bit more refinement, a bit more refinement. Herbalife distributors, I promise you, have become the best educated in terms of business practices, network marketing, the best educated when it comes to, you know, how to operate, how to work with people, develop those skills, that kind of education. It is beyond belief. Part of my role all these years has been to help people with their accelerated educational program to invest not only in their business, but to invest in their personal lives. And the greatest compliment I get back is, Mr. Rohn, your ideas have helped my accelerated educational program. Look what's happened to my business. Look what's happened to my life. I'm excited about my part in this. Let me finish here. The R of Herbalife, I put reliable. Old Faithful now. You know, we're not as old as General Motors, you know, and we're not as old as, you know, some of the old line companies. But 20 years is now gathering some maturity. You know, we're past the teenage years in Herbalife. Isn't 20 years like close to a generation? It is 2 decades, 20 years. So maybe old reliable is stretching it just a little bit. Uniquely reliable over a good span of time, 20 years. That says something. And another R, I put reassurance. Everybody needs to be reassured that they've made wise decisions, that they're on track for future success, and that they've become a part of something that's going to be ongoing and is not only going to gather up information from the past, but invest it in the future and get better and better as the years unfold. Reassurance. The B, I had a unique word called basics. Nobody teaches the basics or uses them better than Herbalife. The basics of good nutrition, the basics of a marketing system, and of course my role is teaching the basics of personal development. For things to change, you've got to change. For things to get better, you've got to get better. The basics of what makes a good community, the basics of what makes a good personality, the basics. And there's just a few. Anybody can learn the basics, the fundamentals. Be a little suspicious if someone says we got a new fundamental. Say, no, fundamentals are old. If somebody says, you know, we're manufacturing antiques, I mean, you got to be a little suspicious. But the basics of how the business works, how to build a mega million, now multi-billion-dollar company like Herbalife. The basics. Mark's practiced them flawlessly. And I'm telling you, he can teach it for you, whether you have just a little business around your home or whether you want to do business around the world. The basics of being an entrepreneur. A chance to be a world-class entrepreneur following Herbalife's basics. Not having the burdens of the corporate structure, but being an entrepreneur in your own right. Basics. There's basics of philosophy. Haven't got time to go into all of them. Here was the A in the Herbalife, action. Right from the beginning, Mark took action, followed through, did the deal. And he's been teaching high activity ever since. You know, if you want the reward, you must do the work. You got to see the people. You've got to tell the story. You've got to conduct the meetings. Taking action. I teach action is the final step of the 3 magic steps to produce reality, tangible reality. First is imagination, which is so powerful it's almost real. Second is faith, which is so close to real it's unbelievable. Third is putting imagination and faith to work, muscle, action. And then the action builds the hotel. The action builds the product. The action finds a polio vaccine. The action builds a career. The action constructs a cathedral, right? The action builds good health. That final word, action, is responsible for all reality. I also put another word for the A, and that was answers. The whole world is looking for answers. Herbalife's got a long list. Be a good idea, a little formula for you to try sometime is to say, here's what the world's looking for, and how many answers have we got to what the world and the individuals and the people are looking for? How many answers have we got? You'd be surprised, the list over here on the Herbalife side. The L, of course, is love. There are many virtues and many values, the prophet said, but the greatest is love. I describe it in one way, one person caring for another. That's the most extraordinary life value there is. And we find a lot of that in Herbalife, right? Distributors caring for customers, distributors caring for distributors, leaders caring for supporters, a unique leader caring for the organization. This whole caring expressed L, love. Then I wrote down lecture, and that's what Herbalife's all about: teaching, training, lecturing, giving information. I also wrote down an L word called light, helping people to see the light. They've been in the dark, didn't know, now they see. I, in the Herbalife, I had income, insight, individual. An extraordinary way to change your income almost overnight. Here's why that's possible. When you first hear the product story, you could go share that story with someone the same day by selling someone on future results. I've just found this product. I think I'm going to get fantastic results. Would you like to have it too? The same day. I found an opportunity that I think is going to revolutionize my future income. Would you like to try it when I try it? I mean, the same day you hear it, you can sell it. That's an extraordinary kickstart if you want your income to change. Next is insight. And this is where Herbalife excels. Insight into human nature. We deal with such a wide variety of personalities. Mark's got the biggest challenge, you know, handling the chairman's club and handling the president's team, getting them to work together. It's, you know, it is a seemingly impossible task because there's egos and there's personalities and there's all this together, which is part of the human drama. But the insight of how to make all of that work in spite of all the differences, there's plenty of things in common to forge a team, to build a fortune and a story. That's insight. Then the emphasis, I, is on the individual. Each person telling the story, each person passing it on, each person becoming better each day, each person growing, each person developing skills. That's what makes Herbalife so powerful, each person. Not the individual disappearing, but the individual making a contribution. For the F in Herbalife, I had famous. Fame is good because it inspires. Fame, not just to be unduly proud, but fame that reaches, fame that gives an extraordinary, larger-than-life testimonial. It gives a worldwide testimonial. Fame is important, not just for fame, but for fame as a beacon light. Fame that says, hey, it can be done. Fame that says, look what a few extraordinary people can start, and look what they can finally accomplish after the first 20 years. That kind of fame. It's inspiring, it's reassuring, it's incredible. Now the last E in Herbalife, the first one was energy and education. My last E to finish today was everyone. Here's what's exciting about the Herbalife journey. We don't need to leave anyone behind. We've got a place for everybody. Lydia Colon has a unique story. She didn't have the money to get started. 60 cents she invested in her distributorship. Now she's president's team, single mother with 2 children. But Lydia went and told the Herbalife story and got a customer to give her the money to go get the customer's product. And here's what Lydia told that first customer. If I bring you your product using your money, I will make a small profit. And if I do that often enough, I will have enough profit to buy the product for myself and my children. Wow. That is a dynamic story that says we don't need to leave anybody out. So now let's talk about a little bit of my history and a little bit of few of the things that I've learned that helped me to become successful in network marketing. By the time I was 27, 28 years old, I was earning $30,000, $35,000 a month, which back in those days was a lot of money. But the things I learned helped me to do that. The things I learned, of course, about network marketing, that you can start with very little and build something incredible. That you start with one person at a time, and then 2 people, and then 3 people. First thing you know, you've got 4 or 5 people involved with you in your organization. You first start with 5 or 10 customers, and then 40 or 50 customers, and then 100 customers. And so that philosophy of building person by person is very, very powerful. And that's why Mark chose this method of marketing. So I'd like to discuss some of Mark Hughes's philosophy. I'd like to give you some of the company philosophy. I'd like to give you some of my personal philosophy that I think will be beneficial to make this meeting here today very, very worthwhile. First of all, let me give you just a bit of the personal philosophy that really changed my life. In order to be successful, number 1 is to develop multiple skills. I was taught this back when I was 25 years old. When my first skill, of course, milking cows out on the farm, but it didn't pay very well. So here's what my mentor said when I was 25 years old: you must learn more than one skill. And especially now that we're entering the 21st century, if you were going to give someone excellent personal advice, here's the best advice you could give someone if they said, looks like you're successful, what personal advice would you give me for me to be successful? And here's what you should tell them: there's going to be fantastic opportunity in the 21st century. Not only in China, but every country of the world. Now that democracy and freedom and liberty is really sweeping the world, and now that capitalism, how to start with so little and develop service for the marketplace, is now the order of the day, opportunity in the 21st century is going to be unlimited. Now, especially for Herbalife, because the market for Herbalife products is more than we can even comprehend. Someone said to me not long ago, isn't $1 billion a year in sales a lot of sales? And I said, yes, but compared to the world market, it's like a grain of sand on the seashore. How much is $2 billion a year in sales? It's like 2 grains of sand on the seashore compared to the potential market around the world. When we get to 3 billion, that will be like 3 grains of sand on the seashore. Herbalife cannot grow fast enough to keep up with the market. We started selling Herbalife products 21 years ago in America. Today, there are more overweight people in America than there were when we started 21 years ago. And we're doing pretty good business in America. But we've only just barely touched the opportunity. So for the world as a whole, I think the 21st century is going to be a tremendous century of opportunity. But for Herbalife, it's going to be an unusual opportunity. Now, to take advantage of that opportunity, here's what you need. Number 1, multiple skills. More than one skill. When I was introduced to network marketing, I started learning these skills. Here's the first one I learned: how to make a sale, how to get a customer. I learned that skill, representing my product in the marketplace, getting people to say, yes, I will use your product. Now I've got 2 skills, milking cows and making sales. Guess which one paid better? Making sales, getting customers. Then I learned to recruit, build an organization, invite people to look at the opportunity and to join the company. And I found that recruiting people, getting them to do what you're doing, and if you're making an extra $100 a week selling Herbalife products, it's pretty easy to show someone how you're making this extra money, just by doing a few simple things, learning about the product, sharing it with other people. And I learned that recruiting paid extremely well, because the marketing plan that I saw in the beginning was just 2 circles. One circle said, this is you, and you can sell this product and earn money. The second circle underneath said you can introduce someone else to this business and help them to sell the product so that they can make money. Then the company will pay you extra money. That's what I saw at first. I only asked one question. How many of these people can I recruit to show them what I'm doing so that I'll make the extra money? And the answer was, as many as you wish. You can introduce as many people as you wish to the business. When I heard that, here was my comment: then I shall become wealthy. If there's no limit to the number of people that I can introduce to the business to show them what I'm doing so that they can make extra money, and then I not only make money on my own sales, but I make extra money by helping them to be successful. If that's unlimited, then my first response was, I shall become wealthy. That's all of the marketing system I really needed to see and to hear about for me to get excited about recruiting. Now, recruiting involves just three simple things. One is inviting people to look at the opportunity. The first people I wanted to look